Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I'm your host, Shae Zombie, and I have the super awesome and amazing Adam Post this way.
Yeah, Adam Post is here. AdamPostSpeaks.com into his house. I know Arch City Comics likes when I talk street like that.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you just made me crack all of my blood.
Good. We gotta clip that one. We'll have it forever.
That was great. That was really good. That makes me happy. So we are here because you have the sequel to College of the Dead, which is College of the Dead 2 Graduation Day.
Graduation Day. It's time for the students to go to the next level. They've graduated now to dealing with zombies full time.
That is super awesome.
Not just part time.
Not just like in their free time when they're not studying or like having sex or whatever.
Yep. Whatever those kids do these days. We never used to do that.
Oh no, Arch wants to know what happened to your red curtains, which is so true. That's what they were so iconic. I even put them in your hand turkey.
They belong in my hand turkey. Well, my curtains are they're in process right now. I have dead bodies back there, and the curtains aren't.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Actually, I was on with that Star Wars girl and Cecil and John for a while one night on Cecil's channel, and that Star Wars girl was giving me some feedback on. She's like, "I think you're really great. Here's what I think you could try doing this and that. Maybe put a couple of posters up in the background." So I'm like, every now and then I do the curtains, and sometimes I do the other kind of layout. Also, my laptop is up higher up, so it's more eye contact.
Gotcha.
She's really sharp. She was so generous with her time too. Nice girl.
She seems like a really nice person. She's somebody I definitely want to try and talk to more, but she's super busy like everybody.
She's a big shot. Yeah, she's a bit of a big shot. I got to tell you.
She's
know.
Better than me. What?
No. Nobody is better than you. No, everybody's so friendly and nice and cool, and I just appreciated that she took the time to say that. But it's like everybody Comicsgate just helps each other so much, which is what's awesome about it.
Absolutely.
So, gotta love it. So this is the sequel, though, full color this time.
Super exciting.
Do you want to?
So before we go to your pitch, do you want to play your video?
Yeah, let's hit the trailer. This is by Ted Zagaro. Did an awesome trailer for me for a very reasonable price.
Teddy is awesome.
Teddy Z.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, it's up to me. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta press play.
I forgot. I'm in charge. That's why things are going off a little wrong.
Hot.
Stop.
Dude, Teddy, that is awesome.
Yeah, Ted killed it with that thing. Flat $250. He'll hook you up. He'll hook you up.
Seriously, so he does so many super awesome videos and stuff for so many different campaigns. And it's so cool to see like how good he is at capturing the feel of your specific campaign to make sure that it's relevant to what you're doing, which is it's fucking.
Yeah, he gets the mood down perfectly. The story, the transitions, the effects, the music, especially. Ted is a former musician as well. I mean, he's probably still a musician technically, but he used to like go out and perform. So he really, really understands music and
he does.
mood. and all that.
Well,
Really
and
super talent.
he does this video editing, like he does that for a living. Like it's part of what he does.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Like I love video editing. It's one of my favorite things ever. And so it's so cool to see
Oh,
like
okay.
other people do it. And I'm like, yes, that is so amazing.
Yeah. Anybody that loves video editing is going to love Ted. That's for sure.
Yes,
No question. No question.
and I agree very much with Rotten. It is time consuming.
Yeah, Rotten. He cuts breaks for people in CG. He's a CG guy himself. He's War Campaign, and that's absolutely right. And we should spread the word on Ted, because the more work we give him, the better Comicscape projects are going to get presented. So
Absolutely.
any project that he only wants to promote and work on really solid projects, but people shouldn't feel intimidated. Share your work with him and let him take a look at it and see what he could do. He also did all my campaign graphics very affordably as just like an inexpensive type of little extra service.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, the way that the covers are presented and all the work is presented is just beautiful. You did a fantastic job.
Well, and he's, once I get a little bit extra cash going around, I'm gonna have him go and do a couple of promo videos for Red Valkyrie, just because
Sure.
Ted does good stuff. And so it's not just if you have a comic book that's coming out. If you've got a YouTube channel, if you've got any kind of campaign, you're trying to do something kind of crazy and you want it to be really professional looking, like Ted is your guy.
For something short, he may be able to work with you on rate. He could tell you what his rates are for anything else other than that format. But if it's something like a trailer for a sign up for your comic, which is important too, or a video trailer like with a logo, like Ted did that logo with APMG. Technically we could splice that out and use that like in front of my YouTube videos or something like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he does just great work. But everyone on this project, really everyone on this project, College of the Dead, I worked with the whole creative team, from the letterer to the colorist to the writer to the artist, all did their best work, all beautiful work.
Absolutely. No, this is a really cool looking project. I'm really excited for it. So do you want to go ahead and give us your pitch on Graduation Day?
So Graduation Day is, it stands on its own as a story. You don't have to get the first book if you don't already have it. You have an option to get it for sure. But the Graduation Day tells the story of a college with students and professors on campus. It started in book 1, where the zombie outbreak took place. And then after the students started dealing with it, a few of them were killed. A few of them struggled and survived. A couple of professors were killed, and a few professors made it. And they've kind of grouped up a little bit now. And now, leading into College of the Dead Graduation Day, they're trying to kind of get themselves settled and figure out what they're going to do next. What we see in the beginning of College of the Dead Graduation Day, which is also featured in the trailer, is our character Brendan. And we were introduced to him in College of the Dead Book 1. In College of the Dead Book 2, he's flashing back to a time right before the zombie apocalypse, when he was at a party and he was drinking and he was getting freaky with some chick he just met at the party, didn't even know her name. And then,
as you do.
Yeah, as I always do, exactly, as we are wont to do. And, things were getting a little hot and heavy. She ran off because she kind of like wasn't understanding even for herself what was going on. She wasn't like totally comfortable with what was happening. She was, she'd been drinking, he'd been drinking. So he went to run after her and he ran right into the zombie apocalypse, essentially. And then he spends, Brendan, the rest of College of the Dead Graduation Day trying to find her, to talk to her, to hopefully save her from the apocalypse, to hopefully get a chance to talk to her and kind of understand like what went on between the two of them. Because he's not just trying to be a nice guy. He needs to know who he is. Like, is he a victimizer, or is he a hero? Is he a victimizer? Like, what is he? And what she thinks has something to do with that, at least as far as Brendan's concerned. So it's handled very thoughtfully and really, really very well. It's a perfect story to tell for college students in that kind of a situation, like partying, but also, during a zombie apocalypse and a conflict of, there's a whole societal question of what's going on with the world when you've got a zombie apocalypse in the first place, and questions of, identity and context, in your own existence and things. Just really, really fantastic. Definitely beyond what we thought it could even turn out to be. So it really worked out to be terrific. And that leads us actually right into College of the Dead book 3 that we just started the script for. And that book will come out after this one, of course. But that one should be coming out as soon as January 2021. This one's going to ship June 2020, actually, in 2 months, which is pretty exciting.
So you got them about 6 months spaced apart.
Yeah, I want 6 months apart.
That's
I want
awesome.
releases every 6 months for the College of the Dead story, because there's really so many characters. There's so much story. It's really well received. Comicsgate has been amazingly supportive of it. Ted Zagaro says from smut to CG, he does it all.
Yep.
And he does work nights, I know. So I don't know what he's up there doing, but whatever it is, as long as he's making money. God bless Ted Zagaro. If Ted does it, it's got to be good. Oh
my goodness.
So this campaign, it is doing really well. I'm real excited about it. It's got about 3.5 days left at this point on its first 30 days. It's raised just over 15,000. So, I mean, if we get to 17,000 and change, we're in Deathsworn territory, which is phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible comparison. Carl's a super talent. Carl has done incredibly well in demand. I don't know that we'll ever, match those kinds of numbers. We'll see. But by the time book 3 comes around, I think we're going to be doing really, really, really well. More people are starting to, of course, know who I am, know what the story is, and follow. And this book is in full color. The first book was black and white. This book's a 48-page full color book. I have a couple of variant covers this time, also by the same artist on the interior, and a great colorist. Her name is Farah Narabzilla or something like that. Farah, I can't pronounce her last name, but she's great. She's great to work with. She's got a great attitude, and we just make sure that everything is perfect. That everything really looks right.
Well, and it's a really consistent coloring style, which is really nice to see, because sometimes you have the colors that kind of fade in and out of hitting the right kind of marks, but she seems to be fairly consistent.
She really is. With the covers, the covers are a little bit of a different style than the interiors, just because of the way they're presented as covers. But that mood. This is the first page we worked on, actually. That mood is maintained throughout the whole book. One of the things we had to do, and it just shows how cool she is, she was doing pages every week, and she has a flatter that assists her on the pages. We're just going through pages and getting everything done. And this book is completely done. 48 pages, colored, lettered. We're just doing the files now for prep for test prints. And one of the things I noticed after I was starting to put up the pages for Indiegogo was some of the blood looked brown instead of red. And I went back to her and I was like, Farah, what do you think happened here? And she's like, well, the problem is your blood, because this was designed for black and white, all of your blood is like solid black. So she's like, let me do a test. I could go in and try to color the black red, but I have to directly go and change like those blood stains. And I was like, all right, please do. And she did a test and she's like, how does this look? I'm like, oh, it looks perfect. And she's like, all right, I have to redo a whole 14 pages or something, do the blood effects or something. I was like, all right, well, just tell me if it's too much work, please tell me. So I give you a fair rate for that extra work. Cause I didn't tell her, at the very least, because I didn't tell her like there was an issue. And she's like, no, it's cool. She did all of it. And she's like, I treat her pretty well. So she was like, no, that's okay on this one. I was like, all right, cool. But we know for next time that when we set this up, we have to set it up for color, or close to for color. But yeah, she did a great, great job. And for me, all I have to concentrate on is promoting the book, and future books that we're producing now. Like I'm working on 3 simultaneously. We're working on 3 more full color 48-page graphic novels for future stuff. But it's great to have the book done. Yeah, because absolutely. I can say we're going to ship on time. We're going to ship in June. It's like, well, we are. We did last time. Delivered the book everywhere in the world by October 31st, as promised, before Halloween. And this book will be delivered also on time. And That's a great position to be in when we're working on our comics. To the extent possible, I really recommend it to everybody, is just get as much done in advance as possible. And if it's possible to do all of it, just do all of it.
Yeah.
Because
No,
even
absolutely.
don't you
Because
think?
it takes so much of the pressure off of you as a creator when it comes time for fulfillment, and it makes it and so you can kind of instill that same kind of faith in anyone who's going to back your project, because you're like, hey, I'm like, I've got it done. I've already footed the bill for this. I've already got everything sat here. Like, the only thing that I'm crowdfunding for is, do you want a copy? And so I can ship it out to you and get it printed. Like, that's really all that's left. It gives people that kind of level of faith in you, especially if you're starting out and trying to get your name out there. But if you're already established and you're done, then you're just gonna have people flocking to back you instantly because
Yeah,
they want your project.
it's not like when someone backs my campaign that they're giving me their rent money. It's $25 for one of the regular covers and
Mm-hmm.
$10 for shipping domestic US. But the problem is that creators have to realize is, look, it's not like it's a huge amount of money, but people feel stupid, and no one needs to feel stupid when they're buying your stuff. So if you're late or whatever, you communicate, put more into the book. Like Ethan was putting more into his book. He shipped it later than planned, but he promised a 48-page book and shipped an 80-page book with an amazing chromium cover. And, if anything, he just put too much into his book. And of course that takes time. But the point is, fans just want to know what's going on. They want communication, so you just let people know they're entitled to that when they back you. But when someone backs something and they don't get the book, there's a book that I backed on Kickstarter, and I'm not going to tell you who it is. This was like 8 years ago or something, and the thing still hasn't shipped. When I backed it, it was from someone who I knew who was a creator. I backed it at like a $10 level because I was like, I wasn't interested in the book. I just wanted to support my friend, and it's kind of new to all. Like, at that point, I was like, what is Kickstarter? So I just sent him $10. So then he messaged me. He's like, hey, Adam, I appreciate you backing me, but you're lowering my backer average. I was like, all right, fine. So I'll upgrade the thing to like the $40 level. We're fine. So I upgraded it to the $40 level, paid him whatever. He hasn't shipped the book. So like,
Oh,
I
that's
know I'm
terrible.
smart. I know I'm smart. I don't want the book. I wasn't going to read the book in the first place probably anyway.
Right.
I mean, I would have looked at it or whatever. Maybe I would have read it. But the point is this, is just like, you feel on some level like an idiot if you pay money for something and you don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't want to put people through that. We want to, promise it, know we can deliver it. If we have an issue, we want to communicate about it, and then we want to deliver it whenever we can. And then, but the thing is,
exactly.
and people remember that too.
They do.
And as a creator, forget the money part. It feels so amazing when people get your books in the mail and then they have pictures of them. That's so cool.
Well, because
Pictures
then
of
you
those
get to
books.
look at, you're like, I made that. That's my baby, and it's like it's sitting in someone else's house right now. That is so awesome.
I've invaded houses all over the world.
Well, you are everywhere.
I do feel a little bit, when it's your first book, you feel a little immortal to know that something with your name on it, like, is printed. With me with Jackrabbits, and I was a teenager. I was like, this is kind of amazing. Like, my book, I know my book is all over the world with my name on it. And, 100 years from now, it's going to still be in, some plastic bag somewhere under a box or whatever.
Yep.
But probably it exists, So
Absolutely.
it's an interesting thing as a creator to get your work out to people.
It really is. Well, and this is super visceral work. Like, people, this is not like a, mild comic. This is brutal. This is really brutal. Like, you got this dude getting ripped in half by a crowbar. Up here you got a guy
Arm and a leg.
Face is literally getting eaten off. Like,
yeah. Well,
he
was asking for it, that one.
He's just staying there.
Yeah, he's delusional. He thinks that guy's there to save him. The writing is really, like, I'm involved in the writing of every one of the comic books that I publish, but I don't fully script and do like the entire story for everything. Right. I'm very deep into the script of G.I. Jackrabbits. I was involved a bit with this script, but the writer, Stefan Petruka, really did all the heavy lifting and has a ton of really cool moments in it, some of which, like, are so multi-layered, I didn't even get all of them until, like, I've read this like 10 times and I was like, whoa, this is a really cool moment here. Yeah, so it's fantastic, and the whole that was Stefan's idea. Also, the whole mechanism of it's been a thing like in College of the Dead where we kind of kill zombies with guitars. Yeah, so that's like
So
another little
you
subtle
impale
thing.
you impaled a zombie with the neck of a guitar, which is impressive.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
did
like that
that.
would be
We
very.
we smashed another one in the head with a guitar in the first book.
Oh, this is great. I love it. I love how it breaks off, and then he's like, "Yep, this is now my weapon. This broken guitar
Well,
neck
yeah,
is what I'm
because
gonna beat the
he's
shit
the
out of you
guy
with."
that killed the zombie with his guitar, and then to the point where the guitar fell apart. He had a couple of zombies with it, and then he went and found this guitar, which was his friend's guitar that he recognized, and smashed the zombie's head with it. So yeah, no wasted. There's really no wasted moments
That's
in the
awesome.
script. It's thoughtful, but it's fun and it's got the action and it's well represented with the color too. I was a little
Yeah.
unsure how it was going to look in color. Even with that, people really like it in color, but I have some people that are like, I really like black and white.
hmm
So
I,
I've
I think they both have their benefits and their drawbacks, but
mm,
personally, I think I like the color, and I like how she went with kind of a washed out palette, and so
mhm,
everything feels kind of like an
moody.
overcast day. Like that's what you would expect in a zombie apocalypse. Is like there's no sun anymore.
Yeah, it's not like a sunshiny, happy
Right.
thingy.
Nothing's happy.
But College of the Dead Spring Break, the next book, will have some sunshine in it. That I can
Oh my
guarantee.
gosh, I love it.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm terrified for what that's gonna hold.
It's going to be awesome, and it's in
I
continuity. It's not just like some tale of teenagers partying, getting attacked by zombies or something. It's in continuity with this group of characters, and we're looking at something that one of the characters um, did that perhaps she shouldn't have done. That was irresponsible. That may be related to the zombie outbreak.
oh
In College Dead 3. So there's all the continuity is there, and that's why I really like working with Stefan, the writer, because we collaborate very well together.
that's
It's
awesome.
always good. You work with like people like Ted and people like this writer Stefan and the artist Javier. Like that,
hmm
part of the value of what we are doing in publishing these comics is the relationships and the proprietary teams that we're putting together. What's it like when Adam comes up with the high concept, manages things, and then figures out how to pair the correct writer with the correct artist and then give them enough feedback, but not too much feedback, and just hold everything to a certain standard. But also, I'll take feedback from other creators that are involved with the process. They'll say like, well, do you think this is correct here in this panel or whatever it is? It's a great team of people, and that's how you produce great work. So however successful this book is, and I definitely want to sell a lot of copies of it, it'll be a great book. But this is also the real benefit is being able to do the next book with the same creative team, because it will be a bigger business, but
Right.
and also my reputation. I could ask any new writer or artist, colorist, I could ask anybody in CG, like ask Ted what it's like to work with me on a project. Am I fair with him with the work, with any corrections, with the money? Am I responsive? You build your reputation as you produce these books, and that reputation is what's going to get you even bigger projects and other opportunities. And everyone should
Absolutely.
work that way at the smallest level. Assume that whatever you're doing, like your DMs are open, like people are going to see and know how you're treating other people, and use it it's a weakness, but use it as a strength by just saying like, yeah,
Exactly.
ask around, ask around.
Well, and that's the thing is despite what may seem to be out there, at least surface level in everybody's face, where a lot of these kinds of connections and stuff are happening are in back channels where people are talking to people who know other people and saying, do you know somebody who I could hire to do this or
Oh
this? And they're
yeah.
like, oh, this person's really good. I looked at this person, but this is what they've been doing, and this is kind of how they've been treating other people, and I'm not okay with that, so I'm going over this way. And that's how a lot of people are now starting to get picked up and starting to get good jobs, is because your reputation is what's going to go forward. And your reputation isn't just what you put out there publicly for everyone to see. Your reputation is how you treat people, because people will always talk. There is never going to be a moment where people are not going to share information.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to, we all want to be building our network and
Exactly.
make it successful. And
Right.
that extends to fans. You know, there was a fan.
Absolutely.
There's one customer named um, Henry that wasn't happy with the book that got delivered or whatever. It got damaged somehow when it was delivered. And like, I think about him like every 2 or 3 days or so, because he was like, he emailed me and he's like, look, this wasn't right the way this was done. And he was angry. He was really disappointed. And I'm like, that's my fault. You know, I've got to make that right. And I did. And he's backed me again on this campaign, which is great. But the thing is, when one person has a problem, like 10 people usually have the same problem. When one person speaks
Exactly.
up, 10 people are thinking that at least. Like,
1,000.
Adam, your hair looks great today. Well, that means, thank you, Shae. That means that at least 10 people think my hair looks great.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you want to be very that's customer service, but it's also relationships and people. Like, you know, you want to be
Understanding
very
psychology, like it's really hard for people to speak up when there's a problem. And so if you have one person who's said something and been like, hey, your book came super damaged, or you said that this is what you were going to offer and that's not what I got. If you have one person who has enough guts to say something like that to another individual, you probably got another 10 who felt that same way, but just
at
weren't
least
as confident, weren't
yeah.
as upfront or forward. Like I'm a very blunt forward person.
Yeah, or people just don't they're not happy, so they don't come back the second time. Like, you don't want that either.
Right.
That's
No,
important
not at all.
you get repeat customers, repeat business, and that people will say good things about their work with you as much as possible.
Absolutely, because the second you stop having repeat business, like the new pool of people you can draw in, that's a hard pool to get and to continually grow. Where you're starting to make your money is from all of your fans who come back over and over and over again because they really like what you're doing.
Yeah,
And
you really
they
want to retain. You got to retain. It's
and they
important.
help bring in new people because they start talking about your project and they start telling their friends about how cool this was and how great all of these things were, and they start pulling people in and they help do part of the work for you. But if you don't have that and you're constantly just trying to bring in new people on your own, you're working 10 times harder than you need to. You should be focusing on making sure that the people that you have that have backed are happy and that you're happy with what you're giving them. And the new people start to come organically after a while without so much of your time just sunk into trying to pull everybody in, tooth and nail.
Shae, have you ever had you had Kami Mark on as a guest once? I was in the
I
chat for
did.
like
I
a
had him
minute.
on recently.
Have you had him on ever as a guest host with you?
No, I
He's
have
interesting.
not.
He's really funny and really interesting.
He was hilarious when he was on for his stream. We had him on over the weekend,
Yeah, I made
and
the mistake of referring to him as a potential genius once. And then, like 5 minutes later, there was a picture of me and a quote of what I said next to the quote. It was hysterical. It was really funny. But
yeah, he's quick on the draw for sure.
he's quick on the draw. He's a great guy. I just happened to see him there.
Me too.
Look,
I'm glad he stopped by.
making these books is an absolute privilege, and I love being able to do it. And it's great to know that as more people find out about it, that people are interested.
Absolutely. So let's go through your tiers real quick, and then we'll start getting into the questions. Rotten, I see your question. I'm not going to forget it, I promise.
I already forgot it. What was it?
Don't worry about it. You're going to see it in a second. Go over your tiers first.
Okay. Tears for fears. Okay. So the first tier I made was the featured one, and it's the prequel, which is the original book, which is 140 pages. It's black and white, and that one's 2 panels per page. And then there's the 48-page full color graduation day. That is the Virgin. Call it arm and a leg cover. That's pretty much what we call it, because that's where college costs you an arm and a leg. She's having her arms and her legs eaten by zombies. So that's book 1 basically, and book 2 as a set.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's a good one to get for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. And if for someone who doesn't have the first book, that's a great choice. Then we have the graduation day by itself. That's the regular cover. The students as zombies holding their diplomas. Pretty classic cover. That one's not a Virgin cover, but it's a beautiful, beautiful cover. That one came out great.
It did. It came out really, really well.
Then there's that arm and a leg cover just by itself. Arm and a leg. And if people want to just get that one. And the torch cover. That one is hot torch cover. I was calling it Rough Night originally. It has a lot of fun. But that one's really cool. That's the cover when I wanted to see like Javier do a beautiful woman surrounded by zombies holding a torch for some creative lighting. And he did such a great job on that. I asked him to do the arm and a leg cover after that cover. And then I actually had him do another cover, which I'm not even showing yet, and which I don't know if I'm even going to use. I have to figure that one out because I don't like to have 65 covers or anything like that. It's just I love the work. If I love the work, then I want to show it.
I wonder if offering it as a print might be an option, or like a postcard if you hit a certain stretch goal.
Yeah, I mean, offering all of this stuff as trading cards or prints, and there's so many options. But there are going to be a lot of other College of the Dead books in the future too.
Oh, so maybe just hold on to it.
Yeah, that's another possibility.
Nice.
So this one is just the prequel comic and the standard cover. I like that of the sets. People mostly went with the Party Attack and the prequel, which is cool because that kind of is my favorite cover, the Party Attack, if I have to pick one. Then I also went back, and in College of the Dead book 1, we made an ash can, and the ash can is a 100-page book that shows Stefan's full script with photo reference and the rough layouts from Javier, the artist. And that's so cool. A really educational book, and it's really interesting. This is what we're looking at. Stefan writes a script, so this is the same thing that I'm looking at with the photo reference that I'm approving. And then Javier is doing the rough layouts, and those pencils are what Stefan and I are approving. And it's not even really pencils. It's just that it's roughs. So from those roughs, we're then able to make the book. But it's a separate 100-page book. And we also, so that's really, really educational for people making comics. And then we also have the 8.5 by 8.5 art book. I did this on book 1. I wasn't going to do it on book 2, but the art is also really cool on book 2. Plus with book 2, we have all these covers. So if you see like the cover of the art book for book 2, it's a 260-page book on glossy paper. It's a beautiful book. It has all of the panel art plus the cover art in black and white with all the variant covers. So it's got the graduation day in black and white. It's got the hot torch cover. It's got the arm and a leg cover. And it shows, the black and white art for it. So the reason why I made that book as well is to show what the work looked like before it had all the letters on it and really at this full size of 8.5 by 8.5. So these books I offered after the campaign launch, and I also offered them on secret tiers because for anyone who's already backed, I don't want them to have to pay shipping again because these are also going to ship in June at the same time. So I have to send out another email on that actually. Anyone through the regular campaign, all of these books are also available as add-ons. So if someone wants to get the graduation day cover or the hot torch cover, and they're like, oh, I want to try that Ashcan book as well, they can make their own set that way. And the second book will also ship free along with the first book at the same time.
That's awesome. That is super great.
We have to do more of that. We have to figure out. It's actually a pain in the butt in terms of organizing each order individually that way. It's harder on order processing when we deliver, but I don't know. I just don't want to see people paying multiple shippings and being like, all right, can I really afford to buy this book? I have to pay shipping again. It's like $10 domestic and $20 international, which is what I'm charging on these. That's enough. That's got to be enough money to charge that if someone wants to buy 2 or 3 books at $25 each or whatever, that we can do that we can deliver it. So we will deliver it. No problem.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it's also really important to realize. So the one thing that I always try to tell creators is you're an indie creator, but you're still a customer because you definitely are still wanting to buy all of these other books. You're still somebody who goes out and enjoys comics and enjoys the stories, and not forgetting what matters to you as a consumer is probably one of the biggest things that you could do as a creator when you're putting together your comic, because the amount of times I've seen people who are like, oh, well, I did this. And I'm like, okay, but look at what that looks like from my perspective as somebody who might want to back you. It sounds like X, Y, or Z. And they're like, oh, I didn't even think of it. It's like, how can you not think of it though? Like, that's literally, you've got to keep in mind
Yeah, you
you're
want to see
selling
both
yourself
sides.
to other people, and you want
Yeah.
people to be happy and feel like they're, getting a steal. Like there's times where creators give too much. Like I talked to Raven, I don't know how many times, and was like, stop
Mm.
adding to your tiers. You just keep giving people things. And she goes, no, because I found a way to do it cheap. I don't mind it cutting into my profits, and I want everyone to feel like they're basically robbing me because they're getting so much great stuff.
That's
And I'm
cool.
not gonna lie, it made me back her twice
Yeah.
because that is the way that she went about it. And it was like, I feel like I matter. I feel like I'm actually important to her. I love her product. She finds ways to do. In her second campaign, she had like a lanyard and a mug. Oh my gosh! Like, yes, I want this mug in my
That's
life.
cool. That's funny.
But it's being able to think like
Yeah,
your consumer,
customer.
and so
You think like a
you're
customer because you want that customer to think about it and be like, yeah, that's good. That's worth it.
because I'm not gonna lie, Adam. I didn't even know that this tier existed because I've already backed you on this. I didn't know this tier existed.
Yeah, it
I'm now
didn't
going
exist
back
when you
and
backed me.
getting this.
Oh, well, don't get it without. I'll send you the link.
Oh no, I'll talk to you for sure. But I'm
Yeah.
definitely getting this because I'm in the process of working on a couple of scripts and doing a couple of things, and that would actually be really really beneficial to
Oh,
have.
it's very cool. Wait till you see. You'll see. It's good to see the full script and the photo reference, and
Right.
people should be. Writers should provide as much photo reference as possible when it matters at all. So if it matters at all what the elevator shaft looks like, include a
Yep.
picture of an elevator shaft, because all you have to do is type elevator shaft into Google, click on images on the search, and pick the one that you want to see in your comic. And don't have an attitude of like, oh, well, let the artist figure it out. It's like, well, you know what? Don't give the artist extra work to do if it would take you like literally 5 or 10 seconds to have your ideal, then you're not going to have miscommunication. And you're
Right.
also they really appreciate not having to go and do you want it to look like a real elevator shaft, by the way, or not? Do you want him to do it from his memory? Do you want him to just guess what
Right.
an elevator shaft looks like? Or do you want him to do the right one? Or do you want to get into an argument for absolutely no reason when you could just do a little bit of prep work? And that's one of the things I didn't ask
Exactly.
Steph, and I didn't ask Stefan to include photo references. He just knew to. And Professor Geek and
Well,
I are working together, and he wasn't including photo references. And then I went back and I said, "Hey, do me a favor. We got this guy working on this on these layouts and stuff. I want photo references." He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, no problem, Adam." And we went through
well,
everything.
because
He's amazing.
you know what it is that you're trying to get for. Like I think I'm getting lost.
No,
Hold
you're
up.
good.
Okay, my thing just started to
Yeah.
spin on my screen. So as somebody who like I'm not a great artist, I have really creative ideas and I have a really creative mind when it comes to storytelling, and I know what I want to see. But I am not an artist. And there's been plenty of times I've asked artists to do something and they're like, hey, I need references for, these three things. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then I go through and I'm like, okay, so something like this, but kind of with that. And being able to say, I like this aspect of this piece, this aspect of that piece. Is there a way to make those something kind of cohesive? And having an artist look at it and go like, oh yeah, no, I could totally do that. Or yeah, that isn't gonna work for these reasons.
Yeah, it's communication. It's like you're speaking in its language. A
Exactly.
picture being worth 1,000 words. So you're really going to get what you want better that way. But what you see with the full script and the photo reference is then Javier's interpretation of it.
Yep.
Sometimes his interpretations were wrong. So one of the things I didn't do, and it's not necessary, I wanted like the first versions anyway of layouts, was if there was something where Javier misunderstood or if he made sure. And sometimes it's also Javier's way of communicating to say, or the artist's way of saying, well, this is how I would like to do this instead of what
Mhm.
you said. Does that work?
Right.
And you get to approve it and get feedback, and it saves a lot of time. And it's also very good in terms of production to think about, to go through a phase of doing first character designs. Make sure you know what your characters look like. We're almost done with that with G.I. Jackrabbits. I had no idea how ambitious it was. It's unbelievable, and the artist is great about that. Different artist. But once the character designs are done, then you want the rough layouts of the script, the well-referenced, well-detailed script, because then
Exactly.
you're putting your brain in that mode as an artist to like, all right, I'm doing layouts. I'm thinking through what this person's writing. You're thinking about laying out the scenes, but you don't have to be thinking about doing finished pencils or really tight finished work. work, just enough to communicate back to the writer, hey, this is what I'm doing. And even if the writer and the artist is the same person, I highly recommend that a writer-artist works that way as well, so you can kind of pace everything out. You don't want to be adding finished pages at the end. It's really unnecessary process-wise. It's much more work to constantly change gears like that. And then you go and you start doing your finished pages after the layouts are approved. But you'll see the progress, especially because you'll see the book as well, because you're already back to finished book. You'll see the progress of script with reference to layout to finished page and then to color. And so it's pretty cool.
It is. Well, and you know, I mean, I live with an artist, and I've got a lot of friends who are artists, and I've got a lot of friends who are writers, and I love seeing everybody's process and how they make something happen.
There's a lot of secrets hidden in those process stuff.
There is, and everybody has their own way, and there's certain things that I never thought of that I see somebody else do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. That's exactly how that should go.
Yeah.
And it helps you develop and grow as a creator, and it's so cool to see.
Yeah, it's how we learn. It's really just seeing how other people work.
Okay, so
Kami Mark says Adam Post is so old he used to hang out with the original Caesar too. Yeah. I thought you were going to say I was one of the original Caesars, because that's a possibility. But he didn't want to give me that much credit. Damn you, Kami Mark.
He didn't want your head getting too blown up.
Yeah, that would be a mistake. Try and take over Comicsgate again. That would be good.
Oh my goodness. Heaven forbid. All right, so your next tier you have at 75.
That's very straightforward. All three of the covers. Two of the girls are virgins, shall we say? The covers are. The covers are, at least. And
I was gonna say those shirts with those rips, she ain't a virgin.
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
Nope. But they're virgin covers, so there's not going to be any logos or anything on the front of those two covers. And then there's Graduation Day, the regular cover. So it's the set of all three covers.
That's awesome.
Yep. And that's a cool set. That's the Ashcan, the Party Attack cover, and the art book.
Fantastic.
Nice complete set. We had a set like that on the first campaign. It was good. And then if people decide they want to add on, like, well, but I also want the Hot Torch cover, you can get that as just a single item without extra shipping in the add-ons.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have for 160.
Oh, the 160. That's one of each before I added the second Ashcan and the art book. So that one's $160. It's 6 books. It's all three of the cover versions of book 2. It's the prequel, the Ashcan from book 1, and the art book from book 1. Okay. And I also did make the Ashcan from book 1 and the art book from book 1 available as add-ons. If people are like, well, I just want to get like the Hot Torch cover and the 2 art books, you can get that through the add-ons.
Okay.
Because now there's so many individual products that's like you can't just keep making tier combinations. It's freaking endless.
Right. Yeah.
This is one of everything I've produced so far. So it's the Graduation Day cover, the other 2 Virgin covers, both Ashcans from book 1 and book 2, and both art books from book 1 and book 2, and the prequel book. So that's a gigantic stack of books.
Yeah, that is. Good heavens. It's got to be a nightmare when you ship that. That's going to be a pain.
Nah, I got help on all this stuff. So yeah, I mean that's the trick. Is like we gotta always think long term. We have to be very careful with our costs, very careful with what we promise, and very careful with our relationships. And don't be afraid to ask people for a favor when you need it. Just don't ask your customers for a favor if you can avoid it. Everybody else can do a little favor here and there.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I mean, Adam, it's no shocker. This looks really great, and
thanks.
You have a way with just making really great looking books, and I remember because I missed out on College of the Dead the first time through, and I remember hearing everybody talk about it, and everybody's like, "Shae, you're stupid! I can't believe you missed it." And then you brought this up, and I was like, "Oh, I can get both of them!" Yeah. So instant back.
Yeah, you did, and you did. I think you got that one and the Party Attack one.
Absolutely, because that's badass. I love how she's I remember when I very first saw that, I don't remember her having the tear in her eye, and I think that we were kind of joking
Yeah,
about how she just seemed a little bit too happy to be getting
too
eaten, and
chill.
then all of a sudden she gets this tear, and I'm like, oh,
No, it's been in there. It was there.
I
You know,
just didn't notice it.
I will
It's so
say, like,
great.
for zombie art, like, I think we really created something with that piece because I mean, we did also with the graduation day piece was like completely wild. People loved that graduation day piece, and still do. But when I had it out first as black and white, people were like, "This is stunning." And
Hmm.
now, like, again, I think with this party attack cover, it's just like out of a one of a kind zombie art piece that it's a special piece. It's very, very cool.
It
So I'm
really
glad to have
is.
helped create that.
It's I mean the so this I love. I like how she just looks kind of worried. Like
Yeah,
she's
like
got
did
tears
I
in her eyes,
make
but
a
she's like,
wrong turn? Yeah, Javier's chicks are understated. Like all the girls are understated. It's funny. And even with their boobs, and I had him have to work on that. Like I had to send that back to him twice of like Javier, bigger on top, bigger boobs.
I'm,
Let's go.
I'm
She's
gonna
an
need you to
American girl.
needs to be top heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then you've got
But yeah, their reactions were a little understated. But yeah, these zombie characters, like
he
we
does.
really got some. That's why, like, you work well with people. It's like, well, you want to keep working more with them. And he really likes making
Absolutely.
zombies with me. He likes the scripts. He likes our stories. He loves comics. So
That's perfect.
we're gonna do is look. We're just gonna keep doing more of these books. I want to do not at least. I want to do 2 a year. It's really what I want to do. That's my aspiration. And
That's awesome.
the way you get that done is you don't waste any time. So we're working on the script for College of the Dead book 3 now, and we should probably have the script done by the end of April, or close to it. But we'll be able to start because of our relationships, and we know how everybody works. We should be able to start the art for book 3 this month,
Oh, that's
which I'm really
awesome.
excited to do. Yeah, I'm just excited. And they're going to be in a 6-panel grid. I was thinking originally of not doing the same kind of layout, but I've been talked out of it by other people who really like the format and the storytelling, pacing, and the whole style of what we're doing. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's real specific to what we do. Oh, cool. White Hat Comics.
Oh
I
yeah.
love talking about White Hat Comics because Carla and her husband they're so dedicated with their Grim
They
Reaper
are.
book. Their first book did 1795. They shipped it, even though they had a fire in their house, of course. And then they came back with book 2, and book 2 is at twice the number now, isn't it? 3,500 or so.
I believe so. They're doing great.
Yeah. So
I mean, book two is it just looks so cool. Like
they're the
they're
perfect example. Is look, you're not going to start out getting rich, making comic books for Comicsgate, direct to consumer, whatever like that. But if you just make your books and just keep making your books, you
Mhm.
will decide what your future is going to be. It's not going to be
Absolutely.
decided by being on someone's channel or whatever. You make your books, you deliver, you build your creative teams. It could turn into anything.
Oh
You know.
yeah, for sure. So we did have a question earlier on from Rotten. He
Mm-hmm.
wants to know when are you going to start offering Adam post-it note head sketches, which you need to get on. That needs to be a thing.
I could have post-it notes with head sketches by whomever, and then stick them on the books as they're shipped. No,
Yes,
I think
that would
that's what
be
he's talking about.
awesome.
Maybe
That
I
would
should
be
do my
amazing.
signature on a post-it note when I ship the books. But I don't know if people would look at that as like, yeah, that's pretty smart assy, but you should have just signed the book, dummy. So
If you do that, I feel like you gotta also sign the book.
you know what? I think. Oh no, I wouldn't just send a post-it note, but sign the book too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No,
interesting.
that I think that you were missing out on the pun of the century.
I could do College of the Dead. Like I could have printed custom post-it notes. That said
You
College of the Dead
absolutely
on
could.
it, and I could, and it's Adam posts. Maybe that would be a good stretch goal.
Sure, why not? I think
It's worth looking
it's all
into.
about branding, and we all call you Post-it anyway. So it's
Post-it.
either
Yeah,
Post-it or Postman. So you're either gonna do Post-it notes or stamps. I don't know which one.
stamps would be great. I want to make stamps for
Stamps would be
sure. Imagine
awesome.
zombie stamps. Like that party
Yes,
attack stamp. You open your envelope, you're like, what why is the electric company sending me a bill
I a
with a
thousand
zombie
percent
thing?
Yes, I 1,000%
You
want
would go for
zombie
that.
stamps now.
We can make we
Please,
can
Shae
have
zombie.
we can have stamps printed. Probably we can have them, the either they're adhesive or whatever. We can get that made. I mean, they're really just stickers. They
Sure.
won't be legal tender necessarily, but
Yeah, but
fudge.
nobody's gonna want to actually. No one's actually gonna want to use them. They're gonna like put them in a book. Well, I'll be
Yeah,
like the
say them.
nerds that are
We
collecting
should
stamps.
maybe we should make confiscate fudge, like have it be branded fudge. That'd be a great tier
CG
too.
fudge. Oh my gosh, I could do rainbow fudge. I'm just saying, I've done it before. So.
Okay. Well, when Rainbow Brute
I'm not
comes
making
out,
it in the shape of a dildo, so don't even ask.
no, you don't want to do that because then
No,
people get the wrong idea. It's not good.
absolutely.
Rut.
Well, I this is the part where we kick it over to the chat for questions, and everyone's
All right.
instead just talking about how you're awesome, and
That's
we got a
nice.
lot of people that have stopped by, which is super great. We've had some
Yeah,
people
it's
that have
very
had to
cool.
I
All
love
cool people.
I
I know
love
these
every
people.
time I have people come on. I always get such a different variety of people who show up in the chat, and it's so great.
Hmm.
Oh, Charlie's here!
Oh,
Oh,
cool. Charlie's London.
Charlie!
Hey, Charlie.
Yay! She was saying that she always kicks herself because she always seems to miss our streams.
How is she? Does anybody know how she's feeling? Obviously, she must be pretty okay.
Yes, last I talked to her, she said that it was a really terrible like 2.5 weeks, and she's still got a little bit of the residual left over, but she's finally on the recovery.
Thank goodness. Good.
So here's some
Carl
other.
out of Death Cage.
Oh, real quick. So Charlie's better. Yay!
Good, Charlie. I
So
forgot you were
happy.
here. We could actually ask you.
Yeah,
Really glad
you
that
could
you're
just
feeling better. Good.
love
Thank
her. She's
goodness.
such a sweetie. So Rotten wants to know, when is the Carl versus Death Cage match happening?
We agree too much on things now, but so we haven't had a battle. But I am still trying to work with Martina because I think it was Ethan that had the suggestion of Martina teaching Carl how to dance. Like, yeah, because
Like
Martina does
burlesque?
it. Yeah, burlesque, exactly.
Wow.
Martina does that burlesque stuff. So Carl has not actually officially said no. He's avoiding it in a way of like he thinks it's ultimately going to happen, but he doesn't get to make his own decisions kind of thing. So if we can make that happen, then that would probably happen first. But I do want to get back to live streaming in the mornings. It's a little bit difficult ever since we've all been spending so much time at home to make the extra time for streaming. It's one thing to be like Shae is a great host. It's much easier for me to be a guest on Shae's show than to host a show. I find like when like you've got to carve out that time and you can't run off for a second and things like that. So it's a little tougher, but I do want to do more live streams. They're so fun.
They really are. And I actually had people that were telling me, when you live stream, and that's mostly like that's all that you really have on your YouTube, that YouTube kind of puts you farther down on like
algorithm stuff
and everything, because
well one of the
ways
there's an easy way to beat that, and easy way to beat that is you could, after you've had your stream, like a couple of days later, you mark it. Yeah, you could do that, but that's actually a really good idea. But still, you may not get the same retention that you would in another video because it's long and it's really only for people that want to watch like the whole thing. But what you could do is make it unlisted and keep them all in a playlist.
Yeah.
That's what someone was telling me. Like, so then if they're unlisted, you won't get as punished on the algorithm. And then if someone wants to see them on a playlist, like, well, they're all right there.
Yeah, well, so we've got everything that auto goes onto our playlist. I don't have them unlisted, but at the end of the day,
okay,
I like what we do. And if YouTube wants to throttle me and make it harder for me to get monetized, then that's fine.
So be it. That's their business.
This is more about me trying to make sure that we help as many indie creators as we can. And I know when Sai's here, it's the same thing for her. So
yeah,
if we get monetized, great. If we don't, then okay.
Yeah, yeah. And you will eventually, and if you keep at it, it's the same thing with me. Like, sometimes we do a video or a stream and it picks up and you get, extra subs or whatever, and sometimes not. And then sometimes you lose subs, and it's like, you just can't worry about it too much,
No,
priorities.
You just got to go and do what makes you happy.
Do good stuff. Exactly. Do what makes you happy and hang with your gang.
Heck yeah. So we've got another question from Skits, one of his stereotypical questions. What would you do over on your campaign?
Well, that's a very good question. I really spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to do. So I kind of waited for everything to be complete. I waited for everything to be finished. I was contemplating if I wanted to do the Ashcan book and the art book, or just do the variant covers and then hold back. I was so careful about it. There's really nothing I would do differently on this campaign. I would always wish for extra time to do promotion, but I mean, really, that's the only thing is, if I could live stream every day for 3 or 4 hours, I would love to do that. And the Comicsgate people are so cool. They'll come on and they'll make it, fun, and we'll have a great time. But that's a factor of just having enough lifetime to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand what you mean. Like, the reason that I'm able to do these streams during the week, which normally I would never be able to do, is simply because of everything that's going on in the world right now, and the fact that I get to be home for a little bit of time. But I'm also, because of that, I'm also working at my other job more than I've ever worked at it in the past, simply because they need people to go and clean, and I don't mind the paycheck, so why wouldn't I? But time is always the big kicker, because I would love to just live stream as much as possible, and it's not logical.
Yeah, you just have to make, you get into a groove after a while. I'll get back to live streaming I would love to live stream in the mornings. Even if you only get in an hour, or even if you only get in 45 minutes, just to say hi to everybody, let them know they're appreciated, and have a couple of laughs with some people,
Right, exactly. And that's actually something I was looking at wanting to do, is kind of as kind of a blow off stream. Like, everything that we do on Red Valkyrie usually has a pretty distinct purpose. Like, we've done our telethon stream type stuff, and we've done all of these campaign streamings in Red Valkyrie Presents. But at the same time, like, I miss having the streams where when I got together, you just kind of talked, you just kind of had fun, and it felt like hanging out with your buds. And
that's a great vibe, just hanging out with your friends and having fun.
Absolutely. I think it's something that I'm going to try and bring back in the next couple of weeks, simply because I mean, we're all going stir crazy, and I miss talking to half of you guys, and it's so hard because everybody's always busy.
So think of me when you're doing that, and try to send me a link, and we'll see what's cooking.
Got you, for sure.
You never know what's going on at any given moment, but
right,
figure it out.
Well, just send it out to the winds and see who pops up. So Rotten says that he appreciates you offering the variants right up front. It may boost the campaign a bit holding off, but it can also be frustrating for early backers, which I completely agree with.
Well, I have that situation where I actually had another. I may still wind up releasing them yet, because I have these other two. One of them I told you about, the other one I didn't tell you about, but I have these two other covers that it's just because all the work was coming out so good. I kept saying, well, give me another cover, give me another cover. And I didn't do that with the Ashcan and the art book, but I still felt it was just too many products to throw that stuff out initially. All that, I felt if people really asked me for it, then I would offer them. But I may still do it. I may still, like, if we wind up going extending the campaign, which very likely we would, I may offer another variant at that point. But if I do it, it's going to be free shipping for anyone who's already backed it. That it can ship together. That's how you. I know why people don't do it, because it's order processing wise, especially with big numbers. Like with a big campaign, you have 1,000+ backers. It's very difficult to combine orders and things like that. But there's a way you can do it. There's a logistics software company that I've talked to a number of times, and they seem like very reasonable to work with, and I think they're going to be a big help to Comicsgate. Ultimately, I have to spend more time talking to them, but so there's ways of doing it. But I can understand why, you kind of don't want people having to make choices like, well, I'm going to back your campaign, and I'm going to take this book, but then you come up and you show the good variants later. It's like, well, that's not cool.
Right, and then you're like, hey, I need a refund so I can get the book I actually wanted, because you decided to release stuff later. Or you say, I want a refund, and then you just don't.
Oh, look at Drew. Drew, that's not like you. Look at what Drew said.
Drew is being funny. He's
being Drew-alicious. He's being Drew-alicious.
Drew-alicious, yes.
Yeah, I think I made a similar joke when we first came on. I was like,
I
well,
do.
yeah, something like that. Drew is great.
You know, guys, it takes a lot of work for me to get ready for these streams.
Yeah, you don't look that good rolling right out of bed, okay? I mean, I
Thanks.
do, but
I
everybody else.
appreciate it.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys are terrible. All right.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions anyone has? Do you have any last little bits that you want to throw out there, Mr. Post-it?
Everyone and their grandmother and their sister and their mama too should subscribe to AdamPostSpeaks.com. Definitely share my campaign. It's always located conveniently at collegeofthedead.com, no matter what book I'm up to. And please share it. And if you've got the budget for it and you can back the hell out of it. And the books will be shipping June 20, guaranteed. Only 2 months from now. It's kind of incredible. Thank God it's
that's
done.
insane.
Actually, Ethan was talking this morning, and I sent him a super chat, and he's like, "Yeah, College of the Dead. It's coming out in 2 months." When he said it, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's 2 months."
Like, that's
Like,
not
can I
right.
get it
Oh,
out in
wait.
2 months? Like, oh yeah, actually, the whole thing's done already. All right, so
Yeah.
there's nothing to worry about, and I have 2 different printers to go to that are not shut down and top quality work and know what they're doing. Mixam is one of them, and this other one I'm testing. Yeah, they're both shipping all day long.
That's awesome.
Drew says back the hell out of College of the Dead. Back it to hell. That's exactly right. And let's
do it right now.
While we're at it, I am really excited for Drew's new campaign as well. Captain Love. He's offering like that one chapter, so it's a single comic, but I'm sure you'll have him on. You guys will talk about it. But it's off to a nice start.
I had him on the first go around. We're definitely talking about having him on again too, just because.
Drew it again.
Why not? Drew is awesome.
Yeah, he's a great musician too. His video is great for that.
All right, so last minute fire off question from Eskimonofono. If all goes to heck, would you hunt or farm?
That's a good question. I've always been the hunting type, but I do like the aspect of just being able to control a farm because it's much easier to control. I think I would get people to hunt for me, and I would get people to farm, and I would organize it, and I would come up with good ideas. And if that didn't work out, then I would make a choice. But I'm not going to make a choice before I have to.
You'd be the overlord, is what you're saying.
Be the overlord. We would get more out of less. I'm good with leverage and logistics and things like that.
Oh, geez, you need to work for the military. It's all that they ever tell us. More with less.
More with less. That's exactly right. More with less.
Why not?
Point your gun at the target. Point your gun at the target. Then shoot. Shoot. Ready, fire, aim. No good. Right? Aim. Ready, fire. There you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't fire and then aim. That would
more with less. More with less. I love that.
Postman the Foreman. There you go.
Mm.
You got a new nickname now. Well, honestly, I am so happy that I was able to get you on, Adam. We've been talking about trying to get you on for a while, and it's just schedules have been crazy, and it's so
mine particularly. I'm going to send you my link. I owe you a link. I'm going to send you links for and anyone else. Just hit me up at Comics We Love, or hit me up through Indiegogo, or at my email, Adam Post Media Group, one word, @gmail.com. I owe links. Secret perk links with free shipping. I have them for all the products for anyone who's already backed and wants to add anything. I don't want you paying shipping twice on College of the Dead Book 2 for anything. So you can always add any one of the items or all or whatever you want to add. We will always do that. So yeah, I will get that to you, my dear. It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So everyone, please make sure that you go and back College of the Dead. The links are in the chat. They are also hanging out in the channel description or the video description. So make sure that you go and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to Adam Post Speaks. Do not forget to subscribe to Red Valkyrie. Hit like, share, all of that good stuff.
Click the bell for notifications.
Yes, click the little bell, and maybe YouTube will notify you if it decides it's done being a pain in everybody's butt.
It's worth it, though. Make sure you're still subscribed.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you so much, Adam, for being here. It was super fun, as always. And thank you to the chat.
Yeah, I love hanging with you.
You guys are super awesome. And we will catch you next time. Bye.